It wasn't a sudden collapse, but a slow, almost generational act of corporate self-sabotage that handed the crown jewels of American technological might to a tiny island nation half a world away. This isn't just a story about a company failing. It's the untold account of how decades of hubris and a fundamental misunderstanding of their own strengths inside Intel fundamentally shifted the global balance of power, creating a single, indispensable choke point in the absolute core of microchip manufacturing. By the end of this, you'll understand the specific, almost unbelievable series of engineering missteps and strategic blind spots that hollowed out Intel's manufacturing core, transforming Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, known as TSMC, from a mere subcontractor into an indispensable global behemoth. You'll never look at your phone, your computer, or even the geopolitical headlines the same way again. For decades, Intel was America's undisputed monarch of microchips, its very name synonymous with Silicon Valley innovation. This was a company that didn't just design processors, it fabricated them with an obsessive, almost religious zeal. From the early 1980s through the late 2000s, Intel was an integrated device manufacturer, or IDM, meaning they controlled every single step, from the initial concept drawn on a whiteboard through the intricate design of billions of transistors to the actual physical production of the silicon wafers in their own multi-billion-dollar factories, known as fabs. They built the entire sandwich, from the bread to the filling. Their manufacturing prowess was legendary, a strategic advantage that made them virtually untouchable. Think of it like a Michelin-starred chef who also owns the farm, the mill, and the slaughterhouse. Total control, total quality. This was the era of Moore's Law, named after Intel co-founder Gordon Moore, who famously predicted that the number of transistors on a microchip would double approximately every 2 years. Intel didn't just follow this law, they enforced it through relentless innovation in their process technology. The company lived by a rhythm called tick-tock. A tick meant shrinking the size of transistors to get more power and efficiency out of the existing chip architecture. A tock meant introducing an entirely new microarchitecture on that shrunken process. This disciplined 2-year cadence meant consumers could almost set their calendars by the arrival of faster, more powerful Intel processors. This gave Intel an iron grip on the computing world, powering nearly 90% of personal computers worldwide by the early 2000s. Their manufacturing muscle was so robust, in fact, that they often made chips for other companies, albeit reluctantly, seeing it as a necessary evil to keep their fabs running at full capacity. But then, the world began to change, and Intel didn't change with it. While Intel was focused on its internal tick-tock, a different model was quietly emerging across the Pacific. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, founded in 1987 by Morris Chang with heavy government backing from Taiwan's Ministry of Economic Affairs, chose a fundamentally different path. They decided they would design no chips of their own. Their sole purpose would be to perfect the art of manufacturing them for anyone and everyone. This pure-play foundry model was revolutionary. TSMC would build the most advanced factories, invest staggering sums in research and development for process technologies, and then sell access to those capabilities to any company that needed a chip made, from tiny startups to massive tech giants, without ever competing with them. They became the ultimate high-tech contract manufacturer. For years, Intel executives, steeped in their IDM tradition, dismissed TSMC. Why would a company give up control of its crown jewels, its manufacturing, to an outsider? Why would you let someone else bake your bread when you own the bakery? It seemed like heresy. Intel's legendary CEO, Andy Grove, had famously ingrained the philosophy, "Only the paranoid survive." But by the 2000s, some of that paranoia had apparently faded, replaced by an almost arrogant confidence in their own unchallenged manufacturing superiority. While Intel was busy being paranoid about Microsoft or AMD, They completely missed the quiet, meticulous, and relentless march of a company that wasn't trying to compete with them on design, but on the very foundational act of creation itself. And this is where the fatal flaw began to manifest. The crucial shift happened around 2009, when Intel made a series of decisions that, in retrospect, look like pure corporate self-sabotage. Their tick-tock cadence, once a symbol of their dominance, began to falter. The transition to smaller, more complex process nodes, from 45 nanometers to 32 to 22, then 14 nanometers, became increasingly difficult. Each step required exponential increases in capital expenditure, pushing the boundaries of physics and engineering. Intel poured billions upon billions into these fabs, but their output began to lag. The planned 2-year cycle stretched to 3, sometimes 4 years. Their 7-nanometer process node, originally projected for 2016, famously suffered repeated delays, not shipping in volume until 2020, 4 years late. This wasn't just a hiccup, it was a catastrophic failure of execution. During these critical years, while Intel struggled with its own factories, TSMC was quietly, meticulously hitting every single one of its targets. Their engineers, unburdened by chip design, focused with singular intensity on manufacturing perfection. They mastered extreme ultraviolet lithography, or EUV, the cutting-edge technology required to etch the smallest features onto silicon. They built gigafabs so advanced and so expensive that no single company could ever justify building them just for themselves. Suddenly, TSMC's pure-play model, once dismissed by Intel, became its greatest strength. Apple needed cutting-edge chips for its iPhones. Qualcomm needed them for its Android phones. AMD, Intel's traditional rival, needed them for its new generation of Ryzen CPUs. All these companies looked to TSMC because TSMC was delivering. They didn't just hit their deadlines, they consistently exceeded expectations. Consider the before and after. Before, if you wanted the absolute best, fastest, most cutting-edge processor, you bought an Intel chip, period. Intel made that chip in an Intel factory. After, the most powerful chips in the world, the ones powering your 5G phone, the latest gaming consoles, and even supercomputers, are likely coming out of TSMC's fabs in Taiwan. And many of those chips are designed by companies that directly compete with Intel. This isn't just about Intel losing market share, it's about the entire industry reorienting itself around a manufacturing giant that Intel itself helped create by its own strategic oversight. Intel, once the master of its own destiny, now finds itself in the astonishing position of potentially having to outsource production of some of its own most advanced processors to a company it once scorned, a company that is now its direct competitor in the race for technological supremacy. This isn't just a business decision, it's a profound concession. How does a company go from undisputed king to this? This saga reveals critical insights into how the tech industry truly operates. First, it demonstrates the perils of unchecked vertical integration when it breeds complacency. Intel believed its IDM model was an insurmountable advantage. Instead, it became a strategic anchor. While TSMC focused solely on perfecting manufacturing for everyone, Intel had to balance design, manufacturing, and marketing, diluting its focus and slowing its pace. Their vast, sprawling empire made them slow to adapt to a rapidly specializing world. Second, the story screams about the absolute importance of manufacturing expertise as a foundational power. For decades, Silicon Valley glorified chip design, the software layer, the ideas side of tech, but the physical act of fabricating a microchip, the deep, dark magic of turning sand into intelligence, became the true bottleneck, the ultimate source of leverage. It's not enough to design brilliant chips if you can't build them. TSMC proved that control over the foundry floor is now the most strategic asset in the entire tech ecosystem. And third, it highlights how industrial policy, specifically government backing and foresight, can fundamentally alter global markets. Taiwan, a small island nation, understood the strategic value of semiconductor manufacturing early on. Their government actively supported TSMC's creation and growth, seeing it as a national imperative. This long-term strategic vision allowed TSMC to build an ecosystem of specialized suppliers and talent that is almost impossible to replicate, creating a national silicon shield that now protects the island from geopolitical pressures. This is far more than an internal corporate misstep. It's a seismic shift in global economic and geopolitical power. When you understand Intel's fatal flaw, you realize that the future of American technological leadership, and indeed the global economy, now hinges on a few highly specialized factories located in a politically sensitive region. The very infrastructure that powers our digital lives, our national defense systems, and our innovation engine is no longer primarily American-made. This isn't about patriotism, it's about raw economic power and the fragility of a supply chain controlled by a single critical node. The complacency in Silicon Valley, born from decades of unchallenged dominance, inadvertently created a scenario where a single company in a single location could hold the entire global tech industry hostage. That is the true cost of Intel's miscalculation. What other foundational pillars of our digital world are quietly crumbling, hidden beneath layers of corporate press releases and market hype? Stay with the Circuit Brief, because the next story we pull from the archives will expose another truth about who really controls the unseen machinery of our lives.